First of all, I want to congratulate you for your maiden first sitting as the Deputy Speaker. I want to also thank the Speaker for admitting my notice calling the attention to matters of urgent public importance on matters pertaining to ceasefire and law and order situation. While thanking you also, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I want to also express my displeasure on the time allotted for the questioning hour. We have no other business. At least question hour time should be extended so that we relieve our sorrows, our pains, and we will be relieved with the answers. Because we're not doing this in our own, in our own interest. We're putting every question in the interest of the general publics. If we continue this, there will be a total uprising among the publics also. So in future, I want to request you to be more generous in the time allotment. Because today you see, star questions, we have only 19 questions so far. Out of 19, only 7 were entertained. The rest 12 had gone lapsed. Yes, if it's lapsed also, we can take it up in the next because the provision allows, the new amendment 2023 rules and procedure of business, it allows. But still then, every question has its own time. Therefore, it will be good in future if we give such time. And one more thing, I want to apprise the Leader of the House and the Speaker is, during assemblies, it will be very good if you give notice to all those ministers to be in station so that they answer the questions given to them. I agree with our Forest Minister. We feel sorry for him. We wish him the fastest recovery. But due to his non-availability, being sick, taking treatment, I had to withdraw my one very important question that is based on areca nuts and timber and along with the Burmatics. This is one very important question. I had to keep it as temporarily withdrawn. Therefore, I want the Speaker to give strict instruction to all those ministers who are not sick to attend assemblies and entertain the questions. I asked for time because yesterday my start question number 8 pertaining to Home Department was lapsed. And while taking these chances, I wanted to give a brief statement on ceasefire. Now, why did I ask this question, Mr. Deputy Speaker? Is in the backdrop of what has happened in Manipur. This should be a wake-up call to us. Looking at this incident, if we don't take corrective measures and start acting upon, then we'll be in a big problem. If we don't start preparing now, it will have far-reaching consequences. The ethnic clashes that happened in Manipur, it's been 1 year, 4 months already. Till now, there is never ending. How did it happen? Why did it happen? Are very important things to study. Ethnic clashes between the Kuki and Zo and Meitei happened. It is out of control and it has been happening for more than 1 year, 4 months now. It continues. It has taken nearly 300 lives and maybe in the few days from now may even cross. But the astonishing thing is, more than 400 weapons, automatic weapons, along with ammunition, have been stolen. Until now, the state of Manipur is under recovery, but they cannot recover. They have recovered nearly 3,000 weapons, but no ammunition. Today, if we don't do a tribal composition in the posting and transfer strength of DES and police personnel in our state, if there is a mutiny, God forbids, But if there is an ethnic clashes, what will happen to our state? It will be worse than Manipur. I appreciate the Chief Minister, the leader of the House. He has admitted that Nagas has gone beyond control. Individualism, groupism, tribalism, so on and so forth. Now, when I look at the answer, number 2, the reply was Nagaland Police Department does not have a comprehensive transfer policy covering the constabulary, non-commissioned officers, non-gazetted officers, and gazetted officers. When I saw this answer, I was shocked, I was surprised. 70 years, 78 years of statehood. We have the best officers, IPS officers, the most learned officers in our state. Until today, they could not bring up a comprehensive transfer and posting policy in the state. Therefore, I want to request the Deputy Chief Minister under his leadership to bring out a comprehensive transfer and posting policy for the state. Now, in annexure, when you go as per the strength of the DFs, it's quite shocking. This is why I wanted to apprise the Home Department that they should start doing some exercise. So that in case, God forbids, I said God forbids, ethnic clashes happen, the situation will not go out of control. But today, if we go in this manner, I can give you in the Nagaland will be up in flames and will be finishing the state. It will go worse than the Manipur state. Now, for example, let me go to my own district headquarters. The strength of DEF in PEC district headquarters is 425, wherein Chakasangs alone are 269. I've calculated the percentage. 64% of the police personnel in PEC is Chakasangs. Now, how do you think? If something happens, will the Chakasangs be able to control the situation? Like Manipur. In Manipur, 92% of the mighty officers were posted in the valley area. 95% of the tribal officers, Kuki-Zo, they were posted in the hill areas. That's why they could not control anything. They had to favor their own people, their own men. So here also, PEC 64%. You come to Mokokchung. Mokokchung has 849 strength, out of which 661 are ours. They occupy 74% of the strength. Zenepoto's strength is 705, whereas our Sumi brothers, they have 573. That means they occupy 82% of the strength. Coming to Woka, Woka has 563, out of which our Lotha brothers are 508. That is 91% plus are Lothas. Now, how do we control the situation? I don't know how the officers are going there and controlling things. If he's supposed to go to Woka, an officer, he will start shivering in his pants, knowing that the whole police force is Lotha people only. He will not be able to have the guts to administer. So this is why I was calling the attention of this House and the Home Department to do some exercises as far as the strength and transfer and postings are concerned. Now coming to ceasefire. Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to give a small statement. Yes, constructive criticism as well as constructive suggestions as well. Whether the department takes it or not, it's up to them. But to me, I believe time has come for us to ponder seriously the benefits of ceasefire. I believe ceasefire is being imposed to bring peace, tranquility in the state. But it has done more bad than good. ceasefire has become counterproductive. Over and above, I always give this statement. Ceasefire has become a license to threat and intimidation. A license to extort and multiple taxation. A license to ransom and kidnapping. Above all, a license to killing as well. Every day you see in the paper, one faction or the other, harassing publics, beating up the publics, even to the extent of pastors, has been harassed badly under the guise of ceasefire. And under the umbrella of ceasefire, today, how much factions we have? Yesterday, our Honorable Home Minister gave a statement that we have 25 to 26 factions. Precisely in his paper, it was 26 factions. I don't know how much, it may be more, it may be less. The Home Department knows best. Therefore, I feel that all these nefarious activities, popping up of mushrooms, is all happening under the guise of ceasefire. So therefore, my opinion is, does the state really need ceasefire? Extension of ceasefire? Yes, if it needs ceasefire, don't you think it is high time the rules, the ground rules are to be changed? It's time for the state to seriously ponder as to whether ceasefire should be extended or not. If it's to be extended, the ceasefire ground rules need to be reviewed immediately, so that the current ground situation and the measures to control the violation can be incorporated and rule of law to be enforced. Now my suggestions are, please give that copy to CM, Deputy CM. Suggestion 1, the ceasefire agreement signed with the 5 groups as of now do not have any sustenance, allowances or any other mechanism for compensation to the armed civil cadres of these groups. So therefore, the Government of India should provide a minimum monthly sustenance allowance to the members of the group which are in ceasefire along with monthly ration, so that these cadres do not go around extorting from general publics and creating law and order problem everywhere. Number 2 suggestion, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. Instead of having just one person as the chairman of the ceasefire monitoring group or board, it should be comprised of 3 regular committee members, commissions comprising of army, police, and a civilian person. And Mr. Deputy Speaker said, for the benefit of the House and the audience here, we don't need retired army officers. We don't need retired police officers. We have present smart army and police officers. Those retired are redundant. They have no power. They cannot do anything. The other day I went through the statement of the ceasefire monitoring group. He was confused. He was beating around the bush. He did not know exactly what his powers were. Trying to shift blame to the ground rules only. Ceasefire monitoring cell should also be within the control of the state government. Since it is above the state government, government has no control over them. That's what I see. If I'm subjected to correction, of course. Number 3 suggestion is to immediately remove all individual ceasefire officers from Dimapur and instead have a single building structure, ideally based at Kohima, should be created for proper and smooth functioning, wherein the ceasefire chairman, committee, and all its staff all can be grouped or housed in one area. This would also help in better coordination and quick disposal of ceasefire violations. The security to this building structure can be provided by Nagaland Police, Assam Rifles, and logistical expenditure can be borne by the Government of India under security-related expenditure, a scheme under MHA. All such groups which are not in ceasefire agreement with Government of India needs to be dealt strictly. I repeat this very important point, Mr. Deputy Speaker. All such groups which are not in any ceasefire agreement with Government of India needs to be dealt strictly as per the law of the land. Such outfits needs to be banned also. Number 5, members of all such groups which are not in any ceasefire agreement should not be a part of NNPG groups or any other groups. The government needs to give strict directives, number 5 point. Number 6, the government needs to give strict directives to all the other 25, 26 or 24 factions to stop issuing parallel orders and directives to the general publics immediately. Or the publics are confused. Which order to follow? We have a mandated government headed by our dynamic chief minister. So I think order should be given by this government and no other government. Last, but not the least, the role of the state government should be crystal clear. As of now, it is full of contradictions, paradoxes, and last but not the least, real rule of law need to be enforced. Thank you.
Deputy Speaker, sir. Yes, there is no, till date there is no policy for transfer costing, but we'll take note of that. In regard to this transfer costing in the districts, I would like to request all the members not to request for your Jawans or officers to take in your own district. For the last 5-6 years, we are trying our best. Our DGP, he is doing his best. We did not implement this. 자가상, 속 자가정자가 고해보면, 노타, 속 노타, 목하들 고해보면, every district, 모고총, 진여부도, 모은, 경상, 개플리, 아지브라, 모름브라미, 액답이 엔들된 노코리고 난입이고 있는 거야. 아메리칸이 그래 하시더라도 it is our own pressure. ROC, we have also tried our best that those officers or Jawans, those who have stayed more than 3 years in their one posting place. I mean, it to be Kuri or Gurgana Kuri, one night. It is good that our honorable member have raised this issue. So from today, I will not entertain. Please don't mind. And whatever you have given suggestion, department, we have taken note of that. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I rise to give statement on the calling attention to matter of urgent public importance under Rules 54 pertaining to ceasefire and law and order solution in the state. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I would like to inform the House that despite the increase in the instances of civil society's action, such as the shutdown in Dimapur in April 2024, the threat issued by the NSNK Kango Group to a local contractor, our law and order missionaries have been active, making regular arrests and ensuring law enforcement. I would like to inform this August House that government has written to the chairman, ceasefire monitoring groups and ceasefire supervisory board this month, highlighting the instances of ceasefire violation and seeking action on the same. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I would like to report that our police force has been making regular arrests in respect of extortion cases by the factions between January and June 24. 32 extortion cases have been registered and 35 persons have been arrested. 21 persons have been arrested in Dimapur, 5 in Chinguitima, and 3 in Tunsang. Of the 35 arrested for extortion, figures are shown below. The rest belongs to the other factions. 8 belongs to NNC FGN, 7 belongs to NSN IN, 6 belongs to NSN K Kamo, 4 from NSN K Niki. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I would like to report that the number of persons belonging to the different factions arrested by the police and security forces combined stood at 106 as on 28 August 2024 from January 2024. Till date, 25 persons belonging to the different factions were arrested under 11 cases of abduction, kidnapping. Till date, 26 persons belonging to the different factions were arrested in relation to cases for violation of Arms Act. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, during this calendar year, Nagaland government has accorded sanction for 17 persons to be detained under the National Security Act 1980. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, crime situation in the state is under control, with the police registering a good number of cases under different sections of the law. Between January to June 2024, a total of 724 cases were filed by the police. During the calendar year of 2023, more than 2,486 cases were filed by the police. Under Arms Act, the police registered 41 cases till June 2024. Of this calendar year, compared to 73 in 2023, 154 cases under NLTB Act. This year, compared to 370 cases in 2023. 116 drugs-related cases compared to 357 cases in 2023. During this calendar year, drugs worth more than 12 crores as per NCB Narcotic Control Bureau have been seized. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, in respect to the extension of ceasefire, I would like to remind the August House the following. For the NSCR and NSCNK, NSCNK Kambo, NSCNK Niki factions of Government of India extended the ceasefire of NSNR and NSNKN for a period of 1 year with effect from 28 April 2024 till 27 April 2025. Out of these 26 factions in Nagaland, we have 5 groups have ceasefire agreement with Government of India. 21 are yet to get ceasefire. Ceasefire review meetings are held periodically in the state, the last one being the CFMG and CFSP meeting dated 27 March 2024 to highlight and keep in check any violation to the agreed ceasefire ground rules. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, in our state, certain pockets have been declared as disturbed area under Section 3 of the Armed Forces Special Power Act 1958 for a period of 6 months with effect from 1st April 2024. 8 districts, namely Dimapur, Newnan, Chimukidima, Moon, Kifiri, Loklak, Peg, and Beren district in Nagaland. Police stations, Kozuma, Kohima North, Kohima South Zabza, and Ezocha Police Station in Kohima district, Mangalumpa, Mukukchung, Longto, Tuli, Longchim, and Anaki, C Police Station in Mokokchung district, Yanglok Police Station in Longlen district, Handari, Champang, and Ralan Police Station in Wokha district, and Katashi, Bogoto, Sataka, Soroto, Znyoto, and Akanado Police Station in Znyoto district. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, we have 15 designated camps for different groups. A summary of designated camps may be seen as under: 9 NSN IM camp, 3 NSN KN camp, 1 NSN R camp, and 1 NSN Niki camp, 1 NSN K1 Pango group. Total 15 designated camp we have in our state. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, we assure the members of this August House that our police force is leaving no stone unturned to ensure the maintenance of law and order in our state. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir.
It has always been a tradition that the initiator gets a little extra time. All of us, most of us, yesterday we were discussing, many of us does not know the background and the Naga political issue history. Only few of us seniors like RCM, deputies, including Kaito, including our Parliamentary Affairs Minister Ajay, they might know something. Whereas others like me, we are quite new to this. So it is very important that we know this Naga political history. Now the next generation, after our generation, they are almost all point blank. So I want to appeal to the leader of the house that in order to keep our Naga political history and aspiration alive, we have to inculcate, we have to make this Naga political history a compulsory subject from nursery itself or from class 1 till class 8, something like that, so that history will be continued. I can also rest assure you, out of the 100% so-called national workers, 95% will not know Naga political history. I'll give you a brief background and go to the important events with dates, years, and figures. Therefore, I have to read a little bit. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, as stated, in the early days, Nagas never organized ourselves into groups or tribes in the past. Therefore, Nagas was a unique group of people. Therefore, people take our history to be unique. Organizing ourselves into regions and tribes are a modern phenomenon. Our primary identities were the clan identity and the village identity. The clan identity normally is the bloodline identity, while the later, that is the village identity, is the socio-political identity. Interestingly, our clans never lived together in groups like clans or tribes or other ethnic groups. Clans scattered themselves in different villages. Now, meeting warfare and practice of war headhunting was for show of power and strength primarily, or to avoid being occupied or being dominated. We practice such things. In short, Nagas love their independence and desire to be left alone. In the Anglo-Burma War of 1826, the British colonial Raj gained control of a significant part of northeast India, including Naga hills. Despite their external control of the region, the Nagas in general enjoyed their traditional autonomy till 20th century without undue interference. The British colonial left the sub-Indian continent without making any administrative link with many Naga groups, free Nagas or unadministered Nagas. It may be noted that India-Myanmar international boundary was only drawn in 1967. The Nagas desired not to be ruled or governed or understood and recognized by the British colonial rulers following a series of wars, like notably the Konoma Angami village war and the Krekrama Chakasang village war, which are officially documented in 1851 by Dalhousie, following stiff resistance from the Nagas, and the same was formalized in the Government of India Act 1853. If Nagas loved their village life independence without collective identity or any of that sort, how did their independence movement came about? That's one big question. The answer is a divine miracle story. Few important factors and causes may be highlighted. Number one, introduction of Christianity by the American missionaries in the mid-19th century and subsequently conversion of the Nagas from their ancestral amnestic religion to Christianity. The gospel of love found in Christianity made them reach out to their fellow Nagas. A point to be noted. It may be noted that the American missionaries were not known to have encouraged Naga movement for independence despite the suspicious and allegations of the Indian state. For their alleged role, the American missionaries were forced to leave the country by 1960. As noted above, the resistance spirit existed before the Nagas embraced Christianity. Nagas were not known to have any interest in joining any neighboring states or kingdoms, like for instance Manipur kingdom or the Ahom kingdom or the Burmese kingdom. Instead, they fought them to retain their independence, though some tried to maintain good relationship with them. Had we been conquered, had we been under any kingdom, today we'll be in Manipur or under Ahom or Burmese kingdom, but we never wanted to be that. Introduction of modern, number 2 point is, introduction of modern education through mission schools gave them the ability to communicate with different Naga groups. Schools also gave them a platform to meet, opportunity to be in the service of the British colonial Raj and the experience of the 2 world wars, both in our homeland and outside the Naga homeland. It may be noted that Naga Club was the first organization of the Nagas formed by the Nagas who went to Europe as part of the British Labour Corps during the First World War. It was the same Naga Club which submitted the memorandum to the British Simon Commission in 1929 with a slogan, to leave the Nagas alone, to determine their own way of life as in the ancient times. The phrase, leave us alone, a direct quote from the memorandum, is powerful enough. This imagery clearly expresses the desire of the Nagas to be in a village, not to be a part of a state. Overall, the memorandum is a request to the colonial British not to leave the Nagas in the hands of any other power, state, if they decided to end their relationship with the Nagas, and not to subject the Nagas to any reforms. The above factors forged a sense of unity among the Nagas and helped us to articulate our modern Naga identity. It was the desire to be left alone, to determine our own life and future that gave birth to modern Naga identity and Naga nationalism. This Naga Club slogan of 1929 got its formal recognition in the Government of India Act 1935. After this only, the Naga Hills was demarcated as excluded area. However, even before this formal representation was made to the British India government, the Angami Naga Gaumburas met the Viceroy during the latest visit to Imphal in 1901. This date is, many of our historians used to miss this date, but this date is very important, and declared that Nagas were not subject to anyone except their own village before the British took control of the Naga areas. This can be found in government file number 445-15, Tour Diary of late W.N. Kennedy, ICS, officiating DC Naga Hills from July 19,000 to 1901. Christianity and Naga freedom movement. These are also important factors. The historical fact of the Nagas, Gaumuras, asserting the rights of the Nagas in 1901 provides a good piece of evidence that the desire of the Nagas to be left alone, left free, was not the result of American missionaries' influence, as I stated earlier. People suspect the American missionaries that they influenced us to separate or to resist, but they are never. The Christian population in Nagaland was less than 1% at that time. As a matter of fact, history shows rapid conversion to Christianity took place in the peak of Indian military occupation in the 90s and 60s. Till 1940s, the percentage was below 140. That is, till 1940s, percentage of Christianity was below 15%. Even after 100 years of American missionaries working with us. But it jumped to 46% in 1950 and 52% in 1960 and kept increasing till date. So therefore now, when you do a research, this strongly suggests that the atrocities of the Indian state forces against the Nagas somehow had something to do with the Nagas' conversion into Christianity. Itu American missionary भाना नहीं किना, अमकान atrocities, अमकान की पिछी दुख दिया करने, मुरा करने, rape करा करने, Naga मनो उपाय नहीं तो, कौन बार सेंटे एक बिसारे बुलाके तो, itu ber चाहे ना Christianity वाली पिछी ऐसे conversion तो. Now coming to the most important events of Naga political history, how it was made, who contributed, what group contributed the most, you'll find it here. There may be some mistakes. My research may not be 100% right, but I think I have at least 80% right figures here. Perhaps the origin of the Naga freedom struggle may be traced back to the Treaty of Yandambo, signed in 1826 during Burma and the British. Although our country was not defined in the treaty, it got entangled as the treaty divided the Naga territory between India and Burma, now known as Myanmar, without the knowledge and consent of the Nagas. See, look at Mr. Dibulis, look at the way they treated the Nagas at that time. Without our consent, without consultation, they even divided our land. Following the arrival of the British into the Naga territory in the year 1832 and the violent resistance attitude from the Nagas, the British adopted a policy of non-interference in the year 1851 and 1853 policies. In order to protect the unique culture and lifestyle of the Naga tribes, including many Northeast, the British Parliament introduced and implemented the Inner Line Permit. Inner Line Permit was born at that time, built as a part of the famous Bengal Eastern Frontier and Regulation Act 1873. The bill restricted citizens of India to enter our land until and unless they obtained a permit. That permit is Inner Line Permit. At present, the Bengal Eastern Frontier Regulation 1873 continues to apply in the present day Arunachal, Mizoram and Nagaland. By 1879, the British took control of some parts of the Indian territory and called the administered areas Naga Hills, and the inhabitants, the Naga subjects. The Nagas outside this area were called Free Nagas, unadministered area. Then came First World War, one of the most important events, wherein some 2,000 Nagas were recruited and sent to France to fight alongside the British force as Naga Little Corps. Though they were not meant to fight at the front lines, the material nature of the Nagas took the better of them, and many of them fought bravely at the front line. One can still see memorials erected in Europe to honor those brave Naga warriors. Many historians are of the view that the war veterans, on their return to their homeland, established the Naga Club in 1918. Perhaps in the sense of mutual trust and friendship among the people and the solidarity developed during their exposure to the outside world. However, based on 1901 Voice of the Nagas, it is clearly evident that the desire of the Nagas was to be left alone. Nagas had no desire to become a part of any state. Becoming a part of any state would be antithetical to our culture and tradition, which gave our ancestors so much freedom. In the year 1929, 10 January, the British Naga subjects, called Naga Club, demanded independence when the Indian Statutory Commission headed by Sir John Simon visited Kohima to get the opinion of the Nagas whether they would join the coming new reforms, which afterwards became the government of Act 1935. In the year 1935, the Naga Hills was kept outside the purview of Government of India Act 1935 as an excluded area. In the following year, in the 1936, Naga Hills was allowed to remain excluded area outside the Indian Constitution Act 1935. The Naga Club transformed into a formal political organization, first as Naga Hills. NNC did not come first, Mr. Deputy Speaker said. Naga Hills Tribal Council, established in 1945, he became the undisputed leader and retained the position till his death in 1990. Ms. Adina Daughter assumed the presidency from 1st May 1990 till date. In 1946, when the British Cabinet mission was sent to India, the NNC informed the mission that Naga future would not be bound by any arbitrary decision of the British government and that the Nagas would not accept any recommendation without consultation. A point to be noted, Mr. Deputy Speaker, in one of the Nehru's letters when he was in jail, he stated that a stretch of portion or a portion of land between India and Burma does not belong to Burma and India. He gave a clear statement. That means we Nagas are free. But the fate of the Naga political movement took a new U-turn when Nehru became the Prime Minister. Nehru perceived the Naga aspiration differently. He wrote in a letter to the NNC, "It is obvious that the Naga territory in eastern Assam is too small to stand by itself, politically and economically. It lies between the two countries, India and China, and a part of it consists of rather backward people who requires considerable help. Eventually, some part of the Naga homeland became part of Indian independence, while some became Myanmar, that time Burma. In 1947, the controversial Akbar-Hyder Accord, also known as the 9-point agreement, was signed between the governor of Assam and the NNC after deliberation for 3 days. They deliberated for 3 days, June 26, 27, and 28 in 1947. However, due to different interpretation, both the parties, it became a dead agreement. The difference is the governor of Assam, as an agent of the government of India Union, will have a special responsibility for 10 years to ensure the observance of the agreement. At the end of this period, the Naga Council shall be asked whether they require the above agreement to be extended for a further period or new agreement regarding the Naga, future of the Naga people arrived at. The interpretation of the Nagas, Mr. Deputy Speaker, is that after 10 years, Nagas can choose to become a free nation. That was our interpretation. The British government of India's interpretation was different. The interpretation was that India will decide the fate of the Nagas after 10 years of this agreement. With that difference, this agreement became a deadlock. The tribes that represented on this agreement and signed the agreement were Western Angamis, Eastern Angamis, Kukis, Kachanagas, Rengmas, Semas, Lotas, Aus, Sangtams, and Changs. In the year 1947, Naga delegation met Mahatma Gandhi in July 19 in New Delhi at Bangri colony and informed him of the decision of the Nagas to be independent. Gandhi approved the Naga independence. Gandhi's statement, I'll read it out. Nagas have every right to be independent. This is his clear statement. We did not want to live under the dominance of the British. They are leaving us now. I want you to feel that India is yours. I feel Naga Hills are mine just as much as they are yours. But if you say it is mine, then the matter must stop there. I believe in brotherhood of man, but I do not believe in forced union. That was his statement. If you do not wish to join the Union of India, nobody can force you to do that. In 1947, on 14 August, very important date for the Nagas. Nagas declared our independence. The government of India and the United Nations were informed through cable subsequently. Nagas must remember, Mr. Deputy Speaker, Nagas must remember, we have declared our independence before India declared their independence. Therefore, the world must recognize this. Had we declared our independence after the Indian independence, they can term us as hostile. They can term us as traitors. They can term us as rebellion, or call our problem as insurgency-related problem. They can call us that. But today, they can never call us in such a manner. History clearly shows. In the year 1949, November 28, 11 members of Naga delegation met with the Governor General for free ourselves from India, Sri Ram Gopalachari in Shillong, His Excellency. He also said the same thing. Nagas are at full liberty to become independent if they feel it. Then in the year 1950, January 19, 4th delegation of NNC went to Delhi to meet the Governor General of India. An interview was refused by external ministry, and the delegation was advised to meet the Governor of Assam. In 1950, the same year, 14 January, as advised by the external ministry, a delegation went to Shillong to meet the Governor of Assam, Shri Prakasha. Again, he also stated again that Indian constitution cannot bind the Nagas. Nagas are at full liberty to become independent. In 1950, it will take only hardly 2 minutes now. So then came the Naga plebiscite, the most important event conducted in 1951. The government of India was informed in January regarding the plan to conduct the Naga voluntary plebiscite, and a letter was sent to the President of India for sending their representatives for observing the occasion. Naga did nothing hidden. So finally, in April 11, the plebiscite was announced to start in March 16, 1951. So on March 16, 1951, the Naga voluntary plebiscite was successfully conducted with 99.9% voting in favor of sovereign Indian Naga nation. In the same year, 1951, on August 19 December, the 23-member Naga delegation went to Shillong and asked the governor of Assam, Jaimram Das Dalutaram, to forward the result of the Naga voluntary plebiscite to the government of India, New Delhi, but he refused to do the proposal. Then again came 1956, in March 22, Nagaland became a republic with the merger of Hongking government representing the Naga, Free Nagas, and the NNC representing the Nagalists. The then FGN was formed. Hongking government is more or less the Eastern Naga NNC. Eastern Naga NNC and our NNC combined form the FGN. On 26 April 1960, the controversial 16-point agreement between the government of India and Naga People's Convention was signed, a participation of only overgrounds and not undergrounds. February 1961 saw the renaming of Naga Hills Tuengsang area to Nagaland. After much negotiation and deliberation, Nagaland became the 16th state of India in 1st December 1963, so it is crystal clear that our state was carved out of the 16-point agreement. The first ceasefire was signed between the Nagas and the government of India in 1964 through an initiative by the NBCC. December 1973 saw new births of district, Zenepoto and Moka being carved out of Mokokchung, Pek district being carved out of Kohima, Mon being carved out of Tuengsang. Now, Peace Accord, Shillong Accord, November 11, 1975. This is where things went wrong. 6% attended it, and Mr. Veni Rako was the only person among the 6 members who refused to sign the agreement. This accord sowed the seed of discord among the NNC members. A reminder to the Nagas and government of India is that on the same year dated 25 November 1975, published in the London Times by late Fizo, is denouncing the signaling and his participation in the accord and stating that he has nothing to do with this accord. His only desire is that that any solution should be honorable and acceptable. Then in the year 1980, 31st January, after a gap of 34 years of its existence, the NNC finally split into two groups, namely NNC and NSCN. Following this split, the Nagas movement has witnessed triple split. Today we're talking about 25, 26 groups. There are many NNCs and NSCN groups today. On August 1st, 1997, a ceasefire was signed between the Government of India and NSCN-IM. It is still operational. During this agreement, several rounds of political talks between the Government of India and NSCN have been taking place within and outside the state. Then came Framework Agreement. Now I find the end. Framework Agreement was signed between the Government of India and NSCN-IM on 3rd August 2015. Then after a gap of 2 years, agreed position was signed between the Government of India and Naga national political groups on November 17, 2017. Then to our surprise, on 31st October, R.N. Ravi, the then governor, 31 of us were present here, in his speech declared that the talks were concluded. To me, after much thought, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, the word concluded without any positive outcome may mean that both agreements have been rejected by the Government of India. If so, we may have to go back to our original demand. Today, I can see you're impatient, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. I have only 2 more paras. Today, Nagas having 25, 26 who call themselves as national workers is not something which we can be proud of. For me, this is something we should be ashamed of. For 34 years, there has been an undivided NNC, and this was the true mandate of the Nagas. Therefore, what we need now is another undivided NNC to take forward our Naga political issue till such time we achieve our aspiration, if the 2 agreements are not honored. Honorable members, as leaders, we must speak the truth and stand up for the truth. Let us call all national workers to come under one umbrella and to create another undivided NNC in order to achieve our long-desired goal. That is sovereignty and nothing besides sovereignty. Last suggestion, I would like to repeat again. As we have observed over the years, all talks and negotiations have miserably failed due to non-participation of both overgrounds and undergrounds together. So in order to make the talks successful, I would like to suggest that both the parties take part in the talks. And so therefore, as I stated yesterday, I want to repeat again, legislators should not only play the role of facilitator, but should be a part of the negotiation to wind up and bring this to a logical conclusion. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
People, Deputy Speaker, sir, Naga people were unoccupied, unadministered, and independent people before the British period. Today also Naga people desires to be free from Indian occupation without any condition, not to talk about flag and constitution. This person, if we go back and see from the day Naga people desires for self-determination, like Angami Kaum Boras submitting representation to the British government in 1901, which is now 121 years ago. Formation of Naga Club, 1918, which is 106 years ago. And submission of Memorandum to Summon Commission, 1929, which is 95 years ago. Naga Manogan, desires for freedom, self-determination, which what I wanted to see is 100 years above Paraguay's. Key incident which itu 100 साल ऊपर लगा गुता कोई ना भी 1 साल कोई भी करूँ ना Nakamano aro kamna India agreement be she signed for it. But without understanding and consultation with the people. Itu bara American agreement so to filler. Wado manuha bara 100% nakamano bara accept korang. Itu ikas. Lastly, here framework agreement sign version. Edison ayam bara. Agreed position sign version 7 NNPG bara. NNPG kan Tagan agreed position di taga contains to public domain ni alisip. Whereas, unfortunately, our NHC in IAM framework agreement lahat contains ityata public domain ni nahi. Itu framework agreement to nakamano kanin hoy. Talagang nakamano ko ikaw ko lagi to. Ito iktas. Jadi itu nakamano kanin ko. Itu framework agreement aro agreed position sign kora bachidi NNPC kan jo ami kan to ki koro bole ase boriside government of India logo boriside ami kan laga top pi conclude bosi framework agreement NHC ayo kan bra flag in constitution plan boleh bi Naga public ki say taki say. Itu curi kena election bukti say. Election di pula say. Naga manusia. Itu agreement tu ida tu logi na naga manu kuta korbo lagi tu aso tu. Election di tara tara ni jagi na. तो आज की उसे के लिए जाए पैसा मुरम गुरारा नागा मानो नागा लगा political issue struggle गुरा तो सब प्रॉब्लम होगी ना पैसा है किसी मुरम गुरसी तो हाँ इतिहास after election itu 60 MLA and this other house kuno rukam sas mari asite kipa itu spiritual music para aja na no itu kali spiritual bagi aja jamara bi sob chili kira chai kali porson MP election takisi yadi state government American honorable leader of the house para logina पैसा चलाना है इस इलेक्शन पैसा चलाना है दे एकदम क्लीन इलेक्शन हो से ये हो से रूलिंग गवर्नमेंट ताकि ना स्पिरिचुअल वाले चाहे छोड़ा सब मानो हाथे की ना कांग्रेस ताकि पैसा चलाना है तो आरो की हो से यूएसबी इलेक्शन आएगी हाँ यूएसबी इलेक्शन दे दो आरो एनडीबीबी आरो बीजेपी बिचोरे दिया पैसा चला से तो Itu asile nakamano. Aji to ki hoy ase? Naga public kan underground kan ki tax manga itu manga complain kore ase. Kile complain kore ase? Election de kama paisa to dibi na. Itu underground kan to pit nai. Nishur pajab mai ki nai. Ki kora pale botao me. Oxygen aru pani kora to ekla kora to dalam bi life naragi bodo. Wali bi tagala problem solve korbali public kan naka public kora seriously lone urgently lone. Asi to tuk pai to na. Itu ase to. Itu sub paisa problem kora. Speaker, Deputy Speaker, sir. Aji Arusami. American Government of India, Government of India, Government of India, with again. He got a Government of India, where I said, framework, equal sign question, agree, Kusain sign question, Tagala, the Kudamation way. We don't have to blame Government of India now. And decide what is possible. And what is not possible, they have already undertaken from the law, from the government. It is very clear. Ki possible as a question, it question, ki no hobo question, it no question. Aru Nagaland ki lagi. Ki korne no boli laga plan grass. Ki only ki of the government ki plan grass. Nagaland to. Government of India as a facilitator, American Kambi, we have supported the framework agreement. We have supported the great position as a facilitators. And Government of India, along with the respective branches, they have signed. So, in short, I'll go. So many speakers are going to speak. Government of India to Naga ki ko effective huni ase to. Itu ruki ase to. American decision look at it. So the need of the hour for Naga people is another referendum. Like 1951's revision. The contents of the framework agreement are agreed position to public community. Public community. And then let the public decide, let the Naga people decide whether they want solution or sovereignty. Let them decide. We as a government, we will only facilitate, we will support. Let them decide. The day of the government as a facilitator, we must provide platform and financial support to the people. Naga people must be invited from all walks of life. Like all the village councils from 1,280 recognized villages in Nagaland, all tribal who's with rich leaders. Suppose like Mukchung district, Kali Ausundan Nohina, on 6 range asset. 6 range leader nabi matibulai. Ito guys. Church leaders from all denominations, NSF, ANSF, and all tribal student bodies, all tribal youth organizations, Nakahus, NBU, NDC, CNDC, and JDB unit, and so on. All Naka intellectuals should be invited, especially Naka officers. This Naga club formation to form Grandi, itu Naga officers come from Budu Purina formation Guras. Ajibi Talan intellectual Talan Mishina Mamu lagi. Naga political issue, cares. Nothing important, more important issue than Naga political issue. Itu berapa? Itu kami tanya lagi. Naga Mother Association, all tribal women organization tanya lagi. All Naga Chiefs Federation, all 60 MLAs including 2 MPs. Let us take days and months also and decide the fate of Naga people once and for all. Deputy Speaker, sir, itu para amilan government para initiate ko rin na. Itu platform politiko lagi, immediately, aro gua bisa na, so nakamano, para tak itu participate ko na, decision italo lagi amilan. Lastly, amilan nakamano laga father of the nation to ease the viso as ease the viso. Amilan Fiction to 26 Fushe, alphabet P, E to Z to 26 as Aro itu para over to fiction tabu diti lagi. It's a significance. Tadi first step purna amigan nakamano kade ekta itu fiction creation hoigna. Final solution ekta nikole. Dua lagi ona itu last step conclude kore. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Praise the Lord for this opportunity. Honorable Deputy Speaker, I would like to draw the attention of this August House towards 11 resolutions met, out of which 6 were met within this House and 5 outside this House, and also the declaration of commitment at Chiang Mai, 6 on the 23rd of September 2009, September Summit at Dimapur, 18 September 2010. Then the statement dated 22nd August 2011, Naga Concordant, 26 August 2011, A Journey of Common Hope, signed on the 28th of August 2011, and also to the report number 213 in the Parliament regarding by the Parliament Standing Committee on Home Affairs relating to the Naga political issue, which was presented to the Rajya Sabha on 19 July 2018 and laid on the table of the Lok Sabha on 19 July 2018. And also the statement of the then Governor, Sri R.M. Ravi, at the 5th budget session of the 13th Nagaland Legislative Assembly. And draw the attention of this House to think, well, we are seated here in this August House, what is going on the ground, in ground reality? How many of our educated youths are going where? We have said we have 26 different factions in 15 different designated camps. Now, in the last 3 months and 2 days, in one faction alone, 318 young graduates have joined that particular faction, that particular group. And what is the ultimate aim of 318 graduates, young graduates joining this faction? Is it with a constructive purpose for the good of the society, or what is the ultimate aim? We need to ponder over this very seriously. And I also want to draw the attention of this House towards the resolution met by the LGP Ramvilas Nagaland Unit Party during its Political Affairs Consultative Meeting held on 18 July 2024 at Dimapur, where we adopted 4 resolutions. Resolution 1, The meeting placed on record its sincere appreciation and congratulation to Sri Narendra Modi, Honorable Prime Minister, for coming back to power for the third consecutive term and wishing him good health and a very successful tenure. Resolution number 2. The party is of the strong opinion that solution will be one, and therefore urge upon the Government of India to bring about Naga political solution which is inclusive, honorable, and acceptable at the earliest. Resolution number 3. The meeting noted that creation of many factions, which has come to 26 now, and recognizing the same by the Government of India is not helping at all resolve its complex Naga political issues, and therefore urge upon the Government of India and the Naga negotiating groups to focus on resolving the Naga political issue at the earliest and not on creating or expanding more factions. Resolution number 4. The meeting urged upon the Government of Nagaland under the able leadership of our Honorable Minister Srini Pirio and the Political Affairs Committee on Naga political issue to vigorously felicitate, and if the word felicitate is not enough, then even play the role of a stakeholder with the Government of India for early solution of Naga political issue, which is the ultimate desire of the people and the purpose of all 60 elected members coming together to solve this long pending Naga political issue. I also would like to draw the attention of this House to the telegraph dated 11 October 2012, where it was stated that in 2012, the statement of the then Home Minister was Nagaland political solution will be done next year, that means 2013. I quote, Shinde talks to Ibobi Tuki, and it says here in the telegraph, New Delhi, 10 October 2012, the center is talking to Arunachal Pradesh and Manipur chief ministers for a consensus before it reaches the final settlement with the National Socialist Council of Nagaland, Isaac Muva. A solution is likely, therefore, to March next year, Union Home Minister Sushil Kumar Shinde indicated on Wednesday. I have been talking to the chief ministers of both Arunachal and Manipur, and we are trying to reach a consensus on this, he told reporters today in a reply to a question on the progress of Naga talks. Shinde's statement comes a day after he held talks with the Manipur chief minister, Pokram Ibobi Sim, here. Talks with the NSNIM concern the state's neighboring Nagaland, as the outfit has demanded an integrated homeland for Nagas. There are Naga tribes in Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, as well as Myanmar. Although the center has turned down the demand for carving out Naga inhabited areas from other states and bring it under a single administrative arrangement, and alternatively, way to appease tribal sentiments in these areas is being explored. Consultation with Manipur is a priority for the center, as the population, especially in Impal Valley, is sensitive to any suggestion of the Naga inhabited areas being taken away from this state territory. Prime Minister Manmohan Singh had visited the state last year, that was 2011, to iterate that Manipur territorial integrity would be protected. In Arunachal Pradesh, the NSNAM lays claim to Tirak, Changlang, and the newly created Longding district. Shinde's statement today is significant in the light of the approaching assembly election in Nagaland around March next year, that was 2013. I hope there will be a solution before election, Shinde said, on the sidelines of news conference. For the Congress, even a proposed solution would be beneficial, as the party has been out of power for a decade in the northeastern state ever since Sri S.C. Jammeh lost to the regional Naga political front. The Home Minister, however, did not specify whether chief ministers were agreeable to the center's proposal of a special body to look into the welfare of the hill tribe in Manipur and the other states. Recently, Nagaland Chief Minister Rio and 59 MLS had offered to step down to pave the way for an alternative arrangement in the state. That offer, Sinde had said, was not possible under the Constitution. NSNIM General Secretary Tunglang Muwa and Isaac Chishisu are campaigning in New Delhi and have been holding consultation with their second-round leaders and NGOs on a proposed solution. Negotiation with Naga rebel outlet completed 15 years this July 2012, but the outcome or progress of the talks is a closely guarded secret, apparently because there has been little progress. Over the years, interlocutors have been changed and the tendency of the group's demand has been a mellowing. Time and again, the government has said that unless all groups come together, a solution would be difficult to arrive. I repeat this. Unless all groups come together, a solution would be difficult to arrive. However, a reconciliation process in Nagaland has proved difficult. The Forum for Naga Reconciliation Forum, that is FNR, has held several meetings with rebel leaders from different factions at Chiang Mai in Thailand and at Dimapur, Nagaland, but differences based on the past experience remained. And so now, today, I would like to draw the attention of this August House towards the signing of all those different political resolution and also the various commitment made, and these were all signed by the leaders in the National Party, all signed by like Isaac Su, Tunglang Muwa, SS Kablang, Brigadier Retired S. Sangming, Zopra Pero, Wangtin Naga, Kitove Jumomi, and also signed by most of the leaders of this House, including our Honorable President Chief Minister, the Deputy Chief Minister, and others. Now, I also would like to draw the attention of this House to Report 213 dated 19 July 2018 relating to the Parliamentary Standing Committee on the Home Affairs relating to the Naga political issue, and particularly draw the attention of this House to Governor's address during the budget session on 17 January 2020, Para 2, which reads, "As we embark on another year, we cannot but reflect immense sense of happiness at the significant achievement and development in the year gone by. The People's Democratic Alliance government is always considered the early settlement of the Naga political issue as its most important agenda, and it gives me a great pleasure to share with you all that we would now be very close to it. The negotiations which were going on for the past many years between the government of India and the Naga political groups have been successfully concluded following the framework agreement dated 3rd August 2015 and the agreed position dated 17 July 2017. And the governor goes on to say, "My government conveys its deepest appreciation to all the stakeholders for exhibiting utmost sincerity, far-sightedness, and a spirit of understanding in helping create a conducive atmosphere for completion of the talks in a positive manner. Our appreciation goes to Sri Narendra Modi, Honorable Prime Minister, and Sri Amit Shah, Honorable Home Minister, for unwavering commitment." And so the governor's address dated 17th January 2020, that was during the budget session, was approved by the cabinet, laid on the floor of this assembly for motion of thanks, discussed and passed by the House. And therefore, what I would like to appeal to this August House is get the endorsement of the Naga civil society and the public of the framing agreement signed, dated 3rd August 2015, and the agreed position dated 17 November 2017. And we also know the stand of the government of India, where they have said remaining unresolved issues will continue to be pursued in the after solution, and present the demand of the public to the government of India for inking the Naga political solution, because we very well know the statement of the Honorable Home Minister even in the House of the Parliament, where he has said India shall continue to be a sovereign country with only one Prime Minister, with only one President, with only one flag, with only one constitution, with only one currency. And so when the provision of remaining unresolved issues will be pursued in the after solution, I think there is hope for us, and if we take it sincerely and prayerfully, I'm sure God is going to help us to achieve this. Thank you.